How's it going?
Oh my God.
That drink. Before we throw it to the audience, actually, my question is: obviously, you are a baseball fan, and you are coming off of a pretty big win this year, right?
Yeah, I figure I'm going to wear the hat for the whole year because until they get knocked out of the playoffs or win it again, they're champs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we never had that in Chicago.
You did the movie 8 Men Out, and great baseball movie. I'm a big fan of it. And yet, like right on stage before you came on was Michael Rooker, who was also in that movie. Is it a little bit surreal, a little bit weird that in this Comic-Con world, all of these co-stars, all these actors that you worked with, are all kind of now coming together in this arena kind of thing?
It's kind of nice because you get a direct interaction with people who like your stuff and get to see old friends, and it's nice. It's great to see Rook. He's awesome.
When you do a movie, when you are a baseball fan and you do a baseball movie, does that kind of enhance the experience as a fan, or how does it kind of play off of the fact that you are a fan and then you're in a baseball movie?
Well, it was weird because when we were shooting it and I saw the movie the first time, I thought, what's wrong? We don't look like the ball players. We don't look like the ball players. But what I was missing was that shot from center field that you used to see on TV.
Yeah.
So then once I adjusted to it, I was like, oh, we look good. We look good. I was just so used to TV baseball.
Yeah.
But, we've learned to watch the sport that way. But then I just had to readjust and watch it from the dugout again.
That's weird, but that makes sense. Like a different perspective overall. Yeah.
Like what's missing? What's missing? Our swings were good. We were missing that big center field overhead shot.
Yeah.
But it was a ball just to grow up in Chicago. I used to go down to old Comiskey Park and Wrigley Field, and they were so old, those stadiums, and so many memories there. So to play a White Sox.
Yeah. Well, there's also, baseball more than any other sport, I would say, has like so many great myths and legends that are attached to it, and the Cubs in particular, there's so much history and there's mythology to it. What is sort of a story from Cubby history that you would like to see get made into a movie?
I don't think you could make a movie of the Cubs. The last year was it. I mean, that whole playoff run in the Game 7 in Cleveland, there's no movie. You couldn't touch it. A movie couldn't touch it.
It's like it's now reached the pinnacle. It is.
Yeah, that's the problem with, even if you make a film about Muhammad Ali or Michael Jordan, it's better to watch Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be, you can't make a movie about the Cubs.
Well, it's like, it's the Hollywood ending, and I hope it's not the ending, but it's like, it's the Hollywood grand finale.
It was crazy drama by the 11th inning or whatever, when the reins came open. I was like, this is like Moby Dick or something.
Yeah.
Like we're in some sort of surreal, it was really wild.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. It was also very tense. But let's throw it to an audience question. Hi there, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
You were in The Raven as Edgar Allan Poe. What's your favorite Edgar Allan Poe poem?
I think like when he was really funny, he was pretty good. Like Hop Frog. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Didn't they shoot? I had heard that there was four alternate endings that they rolled out to a screening.
We did a bunch too. Yeah, we did a bunch of them.
Yeah. It's and I don't know if they're out there, but yeah, apparently they were test screening them. Yeah. Let's take another one over here. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Grosse Pointe Blank is one of my favorites, and your sister Joan was in it.
Thank you.
But I don't think you had any scenes together.
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Because I was wondering if you two pulled any hijinks together on the set.
Yeah, basically I usually just roll the cameras and then get run over by her. And then it's usually interesting to watch.
Yeah, I just remember you two being on the phone and the money under the drawer. Yay!
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing, sir?
I also have a 1408 question. It's a favorite movie of mine, and there's a lot of great scenes from the Samuel L. Jackson scene to the scene with your daughter,
And it's all in the short story. If you read that short story, you just realize how brilliant Stephen King is, because he packs so much stuff into, 28-page short. I think it's like 30 pages, the short story. And you could go back to it and find more and more nuance and character. He's just such a brilliant Parking Writer.
The reunion with your daughter near the end brings me to tears every time I watch it, and so much of the movie is almost like a one-act play because you're interacting with the tape recorder or nothing else. And I want to know what your favorite scene making that movie was.
I like the whole crazy gestalt, the dare of it, you know. So the idea of just sort of holding, once you're in there, that you can't get out. It's just sort of you and the camera in the room. So each day, the director and the cinematographer and me were just laughing because we're like, well, what are we going to do now? But it was a really fun movie to make. Really great people involved. The director was great. And, but again, I was just always amazed at Stephen King's imagination, because you could always go back to him with a question, and somehow it would all be in that story.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think it's the 10-year anniversary of Fortune Away right now, right? It was 2007.
I couldn't even tell you what day it is. I don't know.
It's and yet it holds up, since it has sort of a bit of a timeless quality. I think because of the setting so much. Have you ever been in one of these hotels in all your travels across the world where you end up in a place where you're like, yeah, this is the place that has that kind of either murdery type of history or ghost story, or you're just like, this key just kind of signals that this is going to be a creepy joint?
A bunch of them. But one in particular, when I was shooting a movie called The Road to Wellville, which is a very bizarre Alan Parker movie with Anthony Hopkins and Matthew Broderick, and it was very bizarre, but we shot in Mohonk, New York. Okay. And I never asked Mr. King this, but I read it, and I think it was confirmed that the Mohonk Hotel was where he went to, where he envisioned The Shining. Mm-hmm. So it's a big old, it was like the Overlook Hotel, and we stayed in there, and the people said there's a whole wing of it that was supposedly the haunted wing. Of course, we went down there, and it was definitely freaky.
It's kind of that thing that, like, when you go to Europe or you go to other parts of the world, there's ancient history as far as castles and big manors and everything, but there's a special kind of creepiness with old American buildings in a way, because they're not as old, and yet they still have that creepy vibe to you. You know what I mean? Like, as far as that goes?
You check out the Mohonk Hotel online. I think it even has one of those garden mazes.
Yeah.
But the structure itself is definitely, especially on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Nice old structures that are pretty haunted.
Yeah, nice to stay at, a little creepy. Hi.
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 I didn't know you were coming, or I'd have worn the Say Anything outfit. But anyway.
But you're a princess.
I'm a princess. A dress code. I love Serendipity, but I want to ask you a question. Martian Child was an amazing movie. Everyone's got to see that movie. It was so-so in the theater, but it's a fabulous movie. And I just give you credit for that.
Thank you.
What do you think about adoption?
You mean...
for you.
For me?
Yes, sir.
Did you have anyone in particular in mind?
No, but considering it.
Oh.
Or something.
Did you say adoption?
Yes. You do a fabulous portrayal in that.
I'm not against it. I'm all for it.
Keep
I'm all
it
for
on.
anybody.
Be a good dad.
Anybody loving humans is always good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Gotta say, I didn't expect that question. Valid. It's a little bit weird, but valid. But it's okay. Hi.
Hi. Of all the movies that you've done, like, do you have a favorite genre, and also, like, do you have a favorite movie that you've done?
No favorite genre, really. But I would think like the horror psychological thriller genre is I enjoy doing, because it's easier for everybody to get on the same page, because all the jump scares and tropes and cliches are all out there, so you really do have to create a sort of mood that you maintain. So that I've enjoyed making those.
Okay, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
My brother-in-law's favorite movie is Better Off Dead, and he wanted me to ask you, where's my $2?
I've never heard that before.
Well,
what if I had an answer for that?
I know, yeah.
Answers.
Well,
I should just run away, like in the movie.
There you go, and then the panel will be over. We don't want that. I mean, when you talk about the psychological horror, sort of what the end game, what the result that you guys are going for with that kind of film. But with something like being John Malkovich, which was a psychological mind game in another way. When you're approaching that project, was there a moment where you thought, okay, well, I kind of get what they're going for, but this gimmick may not click, may not work?
No, it was more like it worked as a surrealist sort of comedy, and it was up to us to make what was on the page there, because it was all there.
Yeah.
But I didn't doubt the tone.
Yeah. It's one of those things that I could imagine, like, when that was being, when you're looking for funding for that, when that's looking to get produced, maybe a lot of people out there would be like, this isn't going to connect with audiences. Like, the trust that had to go into that.
You know, yeah, you had to have a lot of nerve.
Yeah, yeah. Hi.
Hi. I just wanted to say that I love like so many of your movies.
Thank you.
Better Off Dead was my first, and I was just hooked on you since then. But like 1408 and Identity is just great. Which one of those films would you say that you liked filming better than the other?
I would say I had a good time with all those ones. James Mangold did that one. I was with Ray Liotta, and Identity, and 1408 was great with Mikael Hallström. So I enjoyed both of those. They were both great memories.
Thank you very much.
It's funny because with such a large resume and so many genres within your career, when you show up to shows like this, do you find that there's like, you know, Philadelphia tends to react more to this type of movie or this genre, or there's like a new batch of fans approaching something like 1408? Do you kind of like track which of your works is kind of in the mindset at that moment?
Well, I know that the horror and psychological, you know, any thriller horror genre, the fans are into that, are just super into that.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't done too many shows, just the first year, but yeah, those people are into like the 1408s.
Yeah.
Identities. That's pretty fun.
Well, do you find that there is now this nostalgia for the 80s stuff, because all those are kind of coming around, and those people are now having kids of their own that they're showing those to? Do you find there's like this big nostalgia factor that people are approaching with it now?
Yeah, they seem to like them. Usually, when you make a movie, it takes a while for people to find them. It doesn't always equate right away, but then people, if they like it, they just continue to sort of like it.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Cool. Hi.
Hi. So you've been in 2 Stephen King movies so far. Is there like one book that you'd really want to be in?
I've been in 3 actually.
Oh, sorry, 3.
That's all right.
Is there one that you really want to be in?
Yeah, the ones that the studios have the rights to the ones, but it would have been fun to be in Dark Tower or The Stand or any of those. But you know, they're gonna go for whoever the flavor of the month box office.
So would you ever want to be like the
What?
What?
I said, would you ever want to be like one of his like horrible characters that like kind of everyone hates?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah. Is Ryan, out of all the movies you were in, is there a particular actor that you like to work with more than others?
I liked, well, just because he was on stage a minute ago, Rooker was the best. Yeah, he's like as good a guy as it gets. So, but usually the actors are always awesome. I know, I always have been really lucky that way.
Do you have any projects in the future of the actor that you worked with that was a big hit?
Nothing right now. I mean, I'm trying to get something together called The Immortal Irishman. Trying to get a bunch of Irish people together to do that story.
I'm just, by the way, I'm Irish, just.
So your way. But now you're auditioning for the job. That's
no job.
Well, I mean, what about an actor that you've been working with, you've just sort of enjoyed watching, that to the point where you just kind of could step back and just watch them work?
Oh man, so many. I couldn't even pick.
No? Hi.
Hey, how you doing, John?
How are you, sir?
On a personal note, can I assume you're a hockey fan?
I am.
Okay. I was wondering if you were, this was 1997, Philadelphia Flyers, New York Rangers game. I ran into you, D.B. Sweeney, and Jeremy Piven at the Flyers game. Were you working on a film, or you were just hanging out with the boys?
I don't remember.
No? Nah? No idea, huh?
I mean, we were probably, whether we were working or not, we were watching hockey that night.
Yeah.
Your buddy?
We were probably found around Chris Chelios, because he was a Blackhawk, and he's been one of my old friends. And then when he went to Detroit, I sort of like switched allegiances because I had to. just to root for him on Detroit. And then once he retired, I went back to the Blackhawks.
Cool. That's a very specific question.
It's been 20 years.
I know.
I was wondering.
I would have been impressed if you had had like a detailed response. Be like, oh, that night, I remember that. Yeah. Hello.
Hey, John. Somebody mentioned Grosse Pointe earlier. I think that and High Fidelity are probably my two favorite movies of yours because they're very music nerd-centric, and you're a super huge music fan. And the soundtracks are really great to both of them as well. What are some of your favorite songs that are in those movies, other than Jack Black's? Something you can't count out.
I think probably Armageddon Time by The Clash in the beginning, and I'd say Velvet Underground, High Fidelity.
I figured you'd say a Clash song.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello.
Oh, hi. Big
Hi.
fan, long time fan. Just introduced my daughter to Say Anything we watched together. Out of all the iconic characters you've played, which is one that you feel the closest to or that you enjoyed the most?
I don't really know how to answer that one.
No?
Not really. When the movie's good, then you sort of feel like you connected yourself to it in a good way. But then sometimes when the movie doesn't work out the way you want it, you don't feel that way, but that doesn't, people will experience it different than I'll experience it. So I don't, it's hard for me to tell.
Well, you're operating from the inside, whereas we're kind of consuming it and watching it from the outside. So is Lloyd then your favorite?
I don't know. I like Lane too, and I know you weren't a fan of Lane, but I love Lane.
No, I told you, that just got repeated so much from press tours.
Yeah.
I like them all. I think they're
Thank you.
great. Thank you.
Well, see, it's hard for you even to pick one. So, I mean, part of this gig, part of being an actor is you also get to travel all around the world and check out cool locations. Has there been a place recently or, even further back that you go to do a job and then you end up falling in love with the place so much, you're like, man, this is kind of an unexpected joy to be here?
Yeah, I shot in Louisiana a lot, and I really love New Orleans.
Yeah, that's a good town.
It's awesome.
Hi.
Hi, I'm gonna not stand near that because I'm actually a really loud person. Hi. Still not.
It's okay.
So, my question is kind of like that one, but different. So, for me, Say Anything has been like, you as Lloyd Dobler was like a very iconic role for me growing up. Like, I love the movie and always have. What was an iconic role for you growing up, or what was your favorite movie growing up?
Well, I loved, all the great movies of the 70s and like early 80s, 60s and 70s. So Paul Newman and Robert De Niro and Pacino, and I grew up watching those guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, that era of the 70s, it like had a bit of an outlaw vibe of all these directors that were really kind of doing cool, interesting things.
And the big corporations didn't have, control over. They hadn't mixed in the advertising marketing business with the film business. It was still more of the Wild West.
Yeah, it seems like I'm interested in your perspective because there was that shift, in the late 80s where suddenly there was the mega studios that came in and changed everything. Do you ever look at some of your older films and think like, that couldn't get made right now?
Most of them.
Yeah. It's bizarre. Hi.
I've just found that you have quite a few stuck in the rain scenes across your movies. How do you feel about filming in the rain?
I like it.
You like it? I was thinking, he's always caught in the rain, and I was like, does he like it, or
I didn't
he just
plan it, but it just worked out that way.
Okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
I love that observation, though. That's great. Hi.
Okay, I'm John. Was there a script that came before you that just whaled you right from the get-go, and after you filmed it, were you as satisfied as you thought you would be with the film?
Yeah, usually never quite satisfied. You always feel like you could have done better, but Being John Malkovich is a pretty great script.
Thank you.
I don't really know that there's a genre that you haven't stepped into. Is there something that you mentioned, the Irish project? Is there something else that you kind of want to tackle or take on, type of project you're looking for?
Not really, just anything good or that pays.
Yeah, that's always helpful. Hi.
Back and forth.
It's great to see you again. I met you yesterday, and I did kind of lie. I said 1408 was my favorite movie, but I probably would have to say Serendipity's also up there, partly because Kate Beckinsale's there too. And
I understand your pain.
yes, and, it was probably a tough scene for you. But anyway, one of your, I assume, friends, Jeremy Piven's, was in there, and one of my favorite quotes, "You're a jackass," and I love that about you, which I say quite a bit actually. Mike, that brings me to, you worked with his family early on in theater. Have you thought about going back into theater in the future, like work on Broadway?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about some things, doing some things, but yeah, I might.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, I was lucky enough to live in Chicago for 5 years in my 20s. Great time to live in Chicago. I was wondering what some of your favorite things to do there, or even a favorite restaurant.
Yeah, there's so many great restaurants there, and a lot of the great bars that we shot in. You know, we kind of showed them in High Fidelity, but there's a bunch of them that are still there. Great old bars and
We
Wrigley
lived in
Field,
State
of course.
Division for our first apartment there, so we were.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Thank
Cool.
you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey, sir, big fan. I just wanted to say from 8 Men Out, that scene at the end of the movie when you're talking to the little boy on the street explaining what it feels like to hit a home run, I just wanted to say that that's a really seminal moment in my life, and it just is one of those moments in film. It really just captures an emotion in a story that's just, you know, totally unrelatable, and it just expresses a feeling in a way that, you know, it's really difficult to do. And my question was there a role that you found rather emotionally challenging? Something that's like, oh, this is really going to be hard for me, like, you know, based on what I believe or, you know, my life experiences.
Well, that answers that other gentleman's question about great scripts, and that's John Sayles. So that was all the writing from John Sayles' book, based on the book by Elliot Azanoff. So when you have a scene that's laid out that beautifully for you, you just have to sort of do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi. First of all, I'm from Louisiana, so I just wanted to say I'm glad that you like it there.
I do.
New Orleans is great. My question is about Love and Mercy. I guess just how did you prepare for that role and kind of get into it? Because it's kind of a bizarre story, but also, have you ever met Brian Wilson? And
Yeah, Brian's still rocking and rolling, still touring and doing things, and he and his wife Melinda are great, so they sort of let me hang around him and talk to him, and then, you know, you have Pet Sounds sessions and the Smile sessions where you can hear him working, so that's sort of, I just sort of immerse myself in his work.
Cool. Thank you. Well, guys, we are unfortunately out of time. However, you're going to be here for the rest of today and tomorrow. So go check him out at his table. Say hi to John. Get something signed. Do photo ops and all that good stuff. With the World Billy, thank you so much. And please give it up for Mr. John Cusack.